This hand belongs to Peter Klotzbach, student of CSE 199. When you send something over the internet, there isn't much that prevents people from intercepting and looking at what you sent. How then can we safely send things like emails, password, and credit card information over the internet? A little something called encryption. Well, what is encryption? Simply the name for the conversion of plain text, which anyone can read, into ciphertext, which can't be read unless it is converted back into plain text. Encryption uses the existence of trapdoor functions, functions by which it is easy to take an input and produce an output, but very difficult to take an output and find the input used to create it, unless you know some secret about the function, the trapdoor. Applied to encryption, this means that it's easy to encrypt a message, but very difficult to decrypt that message unless you know the encryption key. So how is a message actually encrypted? Well, there are two types of encryption, symmetric and asymmetric. Let's look at symmetric encryption first. With this type of encryption, both parties use the same key to encrypt and decrypt their messages. To illustrate this, let's look at a substitution cipher. A substitution cipher just takes each letter and symbol and maps it to a different letter or symbol. To encrypt your message, just replace each letter and symbol with the one it's mapped to on the cipher. To decrypt it, just do it the other way around. Easy to use, but also very easy to crack. One could find the most common letters and guess them to be E or T, or find the most common three-letter strings and guess them to be the or and. Thankfully, there are many other ways to symmetrically encrypt a message that are much more secure. But even so, how do you know what key to use? You can't just send it over the internet, it would just be intercepted. You could physically meet somewhere, but that's not really a viable option when you're just trying to log into Facebook or something. So, instead, let's look at asymmetric encryption. In asymmetric encryption, you have two encryption keys, a public key and a private key. The public key is available to anyone and is used for encryption, while the private key is known only to you and is used for decryption. This way, anyone can send you encrypted messages that only you can read. The downside is that it's very computationally intensive to decrypt asymmetrically encrypted messages. So, when you're going to have an extended period of communication with someone, you usually just use asymmetric encryption to agree upon a symmetric encryption key. So that's encryption, symmetric and asymmetric, keeping billions of online interactions private, and most people don't even realize it's doing it. So next time you see that little green lock icon, you'll know what to think.